Hello, viewers. This is Joanna Dos Santos with Brian Mandy, my beautiful colleague. We are here today on discussing really a little bit of a different topic, which is on happiness and how happiness is really a conscious choice for all of us. And to start off, we figured that would be good to kind of bring up the topic of, or to kind of merge choice theory, because that falls into making choices, making deliberate choices, healthy choices when it comes to happiness, that we don't always necessarily have to feel a certain way when it comes to difficult situations, but that we can allow ourselves to get out of those situations and to find things that bring us joy, which then therefore feel happy. So to start off, I think I'll give it to you, Brian, to see if we can go over maybe choice theory and how that plays into this conscious ability to make happy choices, right?
Anyway, I think in a very simplistic sense, right, it is a decision-making process of
Mm-hmm.
of when we are at a crossroad, two roads diverge,
Mm-hmm.
and which way am I going to take? Otherwise, many of us are in a place of being stuck because we don't make that decision.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We feel that we are split and we don't make a decision. And it's really a strong distinction there is, in a sense, for most of us, it's an illusion or a delusion that we are not capable, but essentially that we are not willing.
Mm-hmm. And I like
Right?
what you said
You
that
are
the roads,
absolutely capable, but are you willing?
right? And I like what you said about roads diverge, right? So most likely we're always to
Mhm.
take the road that we travel the most, whatever that is, the healthy choices, not healthy choices, the frustration, the anger. But why not try a road that is different and unique and unknown? You never know what might be on that road. At least that's how I think. I think it's just a nicer way of looking at it. Right. And it's a conscious choice in so many
Yes,
ways.
because in essence we often feel like we're not capable,
Mm-hmm.
to that we're not able to take on a task, or we're not able to learn. But essentially, it is a sense of I'm not willing to make the effort.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry about my computer there,
Mm-hmm.
mixed sound. But essentially, it's I am not willing to make the effort, and so it requires some self initiation. For me, right, the word that comes to mind is the word deliberate. I have to make a deliberate decision now. When I think with a sense of deliberateness, then the emotions and the thoughts of doubt don't have a chance to really kick in.
Mm-hmm.
Do I not? I, I don't need to factor all the stuff. If I make a decision, I will take the road less travel, let's say. But that road less travel, that is an opportunity for growth,
Mm-hmm. And I'm
right?
thinking as you were saying this, yeah, I've had, and I think I mentioned to you in our previous discussions, right? And I've had a client like this who says, and I think it just stood out for me so much, that happiness is a conscious choice because we choose what we do. And yes, and I think we've had this conversation before as to sometimes we have choices that are not fun and we do them. That kind of goes with some of our job responsibilities. We do things that are not as pleasant and we have to do them. Kids the same way. If my daughter, if I tell her that, healthy eating is better for her, she'll twist her face a little bit, but she has to do it. So going back to this choice is making choices as to what makes you happy. And I'm thinking about us today because the first thing that we did when we got on the call before we started recording, because we put our glasses on and I'm just thinking, that it makes me happy because I've been using these glasses years
Ah,
before when we're in front of our computers so much, 10, 11 hours, and whether it's a placebo or not, I realize that it works. I've had so many headaches in front of
yeah.
our telehealth, right, with our clients, that someone had told me, take these glasses, buy it, and see how you feel. And I feel good, and at least made me happy. It makes me look a little different, right, because I'm usually not wearing my glasses, but it's it's happy choice, and maybe that's the way I'm looking at it. But even with this pandemic, I'm thinking of it because we're in 2021. Is how can we continue to find happiness? And once again, that is a choice again, and it's a conscious choice. And I'm just thinking of all the other things that can maybe interfere. I'm thinking food, healthy choices of what we eat, what we do not eat, what contributes us, even with food, to make us feel good. When I consume a bag of chocolates, and by the way, we already know this, that chocolate is my favorite, is if I consume a bag of chocolates, I know at the end of the day, I may not feel well, just realistically, because I just ate a whole bag of sugar. And two, it just, in general, it may not make me feel good, and for women, for men, body issues, like another thing comes into place. So once again, it's a choice. Happiness is a conscious choice. What am I going to do that can put a smile on me?
And that shift gets easier as we practice. Like I have to say, right before this session, right, I had some responsibility fatigue and I was not feeling very happy. And I was like, wow, I get to practice shifting emotionally, just 1%. Let me not be like, oh, I'm negative and all of a sudden I'm positive, and and that's fine, if we can do that depending on what we're going through. But I just said, okay, I'm going to have a conversation on happiness.
And I think, go ahead.
I have a responsibility to myself. If I'm going to talk about it, I have a duty to practice it. And I made that conscious decision to take a break, resonate with joy, and think about the happy moments in my life and the people who are in my life currently, especially. There's just so much joy. And I shifted. And then when you came on, boom, we were both like, hi.
I know. And I think that's why I was so excited to share this too, to bring this, because we're having this conversation, is we had a different topic in mind. We chose this one and we'll continue with the other topics. But it's so funny as we say this, because we both were in a situations that almost where happiness, not it was present, but it was, frustrations, like you said, fatigue, responsibilities, right before we get on it. And I told you about my situation. My daughter was misbehaving, and it was like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom, happy mode. We'll take care of the other situation, the other issue later. And it's so funny that you're right, that emotional regulation, or ability to regulate those emotions, because we know that this brings us happiness. And it is great to acknowledge it, even though, however long the recordings are, whether it's some days are 10 minutes, and other days they could go on for, probably we've done it for more than an hour, because they just feel so good, great topics. So, and we'll go back to whatever the other issues are, the other responsibilities, the other, maybe not so great, excited, happy emotion. And once again, it's a choice, right? Right.
It is a choice, because I think it is, for me, I've got to understand that it'll get done. Whatever it is that I'm dealing with, it will get done. But based on my own personality, who I have a linear way, I'm a checklist person, and I don't, and I don't want my checklist to be the definition of my joy. But it brings me a great sense of satisfaction, but it can also be a source of stress.
Yes, absolutely, especially when it's not completed, right? So we get excited when our checklists get completed. Of course, new ones get added on, but I think that's just the daily life. And it's the part of being able to check something off, that how would we feel regardless of what was going on prior to this recording today if we did not do this, right? So it's almost like I almost want to say forced conscious choice.
Yes, it is the forcing.
Yeah, because we know, even though we might feel tired or have some fatigue, responsibilities, or other things that are going on that might be a little bit chaotic, we are making a deliberate, conscious choice to do this, because we know how we feel when we do it. And I know for many viewers, however long they watch these videos, is they can see it in our facial reactions, body reactions, how we respond when we talk about certain things. I automatically had my Nutella pop into my head from one of the previous recordings. So yeah. And I think one of the other things to bring up really quick, if we can cover, is how can one make a deliberate or conscious choice to be happy when they are dealing with difficult situations and almost unable to come out of that, the down or the frustration or the sadness, right?
I like what you said. So, like, when we think of choice theory, also, we can associate it to a mindfulness practice, right? And just like the webinar that you and I are going to be having tomorrow is about the visions that we have in our lives. when you use the word down, we're looking down, we're feeling down, and sometimes we've got to look up. What is it that I want to get to? What is my vision? And and that's where envisioning can really help us. Who do I want to be? Who am I, and who do I want to be? My
Mhm.
legacy, for instance, right?
Mhm.
So when we're down, we can return, like, who am I again? Oh yeah, I'm a calm, courageous, and deliberate man. I am a man who wants to write a book. I want to be healthy. To be healthy is to be happy. And,
Mhm.
and, and, and right, how do I want to present when I speak to Joanna? How do I want to present? Do I want to present myself as unhappy or an irritable person? And perhaps part of that authenticity is to say, this is how I'm feeling. I want to be accountable to how I'm feeling.
Mhm.
And this is the shift I want to make. Can you
Mhm.
help me with that shift?
Mhm.
Can we
Mhm.
have a conversation that's elevating?
And I like what you said, right? The part of um, what I kept on thinking as you were saying this is, uh, what am I saying? Support. I'm thinking support. What if I don't have support that gives me that? And it all comes within the inner voice. Once again, of how strong the inner voice is. I'm going like this because it is. I almost want to shake this invisible me, right? How important that invisible voice in me is. That when I feel sad, I can acknowledge that I feel sad about certain situation. Okay, I'll use my daughter for an example. When she found out that she will not be returning to school, the way they found out is her first emotional response was, I am sad. And she voiced it out loud. She was able to acknowledge it and we sat with it, followed by, okay, let's continue. Let's see what else we can do to feel better about. So we don't necessarily have to sit there for hours, minutes, months. I know some of us do, and maybe that comes with the severity of depression and other maybe diagnoses. But the part of that inner dialogue, that I am brave, I am strong, I am courageous, and I can do this, and I am the only person that can do this. And yes, I'm going to say the word sucks on YouTube, that it sucks that I may not have the support, or I might have more critical voices outside of me, but that does not um, bring me down. I can allow my inner voice, and once again, it takes practice, courage, choice, conscious choice to be happy, conscious
I think there's
choice.
recognition also that we don't just have a critical voice. We also have
Yeah.
a nurturing
Yes.
voice.
Oh,
We also have
absolutely.
an empowering voice, and we want to call
Yes.
upon those parts of us to support us.
Yes. And I think I almost feel like I want to write it like on a board, right? That I have conscious voice, that I have the ability to be happy, consciously be happy. And I almost want to say to our viewers, put it on your mirrors, right? I mean, who's going to see it? At the end of the day, it's just you and maybe your family members. And some of us might laugh at it, but at the end of the day, it's just for you. I do it with my daughter. I put her in front of a mirror since she was, I don't know, maybe 2 years old. And I have her repeat phrases, and I am strong, I am brave, I am confident, which now she almost has like a list of 10 that she has added in throughout the time,
Mhm.
because it's her voice. Whatever it is that she takes from my voice is one thing, but at the end of the day, it's also her voice that matters, that can bring her confidence up, her happiness up.
And to that factor, right, Joanna, I want to add, something I wanted to cover in the webinar, and that is terminology: internal locus of control and external locus of control. My happiness, is it defined by my circumstances? Because it can definitely affect me. But then I've got to return to my internal control, that I have it within me to control and make my decisions.
Mm-hmm.
That my character defines my destiny.
Mm-hmm.
My circumstances can certainly affect it, but my character defines my journey and
Mm-hmm.
roadmap,
Mm-hmm.
right? Mm-hmm.
So I love this topic, and I think it is a great way to introduce viewers to what the future of 2021 holds. And it is doing webinars. O'Brien will be doing them as of January 18th. We'll be starting a webinar that's called Envisioning 2021, and you can register on our Facebook websites, our LinkedIn, Instagram, at BN Counseling, or Brian Andy, or GDS Counseling, or Joanna Dos Santos, primarily really Joanna
Yeah,
GDS.
yeah.
And you can register. Our first webinar will begin January 18th. And we cannot wait to see you. We already have quite a bit of you registered. So we're just looking to have this. It will be our first live sort of webinar. So I know we're probably going to have some feelings associated with this, but great, because I think we'll be able to share it at the same time during this webinar. And also with this topic of happiness as a conscious choice, that it is up to you as to what it is that you want to do today and tomorrow, next week, or in a month, and that you can be conscious of when you make those decisions to be happy. Because once you're able to do something that makes you happy, you automatically wire your brain cells to continue doing the same, if not more. I know it has happened to me. I'm sure it has happened to you, Brian. So once again, for our viewers, happiness is a conscious choice. And I hope you guys have gotten something out of this recording. We hope to see your responses, your feedback, and share if you'd like, comment if you'd like. We look forward to some of your information. So once again, thank you so much, Brian. Thank you for this recording. As always, viewers, thank you. Subscribe, share, comment. Thank you, and we will see you soon.